step this way for the Spanish Inquisition. Just a little coffee talk, okay, like butter.
And now, broadcasting live on the Rocky Mountain Sports Network, this is Elevation 5280 Sports with Matt Mascarenas.
Want me to invite Matt?
Yeah, the whole gang, Matt included.
The Denver freaking Nuggets are the number one seed in the Western Conference, and they are coming for that you-know-what. There is nothing that can stop this team. Strap in with me. It is time to watch a Denver Nuggets championship run.
And Michael Spillin.
All work and no play makes Michael a dull boy.
Yeah, I'm excited for this Denver Nuggets playoff push. I'm excited for the rest of the season, but Matt, they cannot be losing to teams like Orlando on the road, like Memphis on the road, but I'm excited either way, and it is going to be a fantastic finish. They are almost in the exact same championship window the Avs were in last year, and speaking of the Avs, do not count them out just yet.
Matt's an okay dude, but he's a dummy.
Michael!
Oh, that's funny. Michael!
Now, Matt and Michael are on.
Welcome into Elevation 5280 Sports here on the Rocky Mountain Sports Network. We are here on a special Monday night edition because, quote, Matt, we are special.
We are super, super special.
Yeah, just when you thought Brooklyn was going to hang on to that game, Philadelphia comes storming back and takes the final score 96-84 as we are in the midst of NBA and about to be full swing into NHL playoffs. Avs will get going tomorrow. Nuggets got going yesterday, Matt. It was a butt kicking of a century. I think we were all, pleasantly surprised yet relieved, and we'll get into that here in just a second. Don't forget to go and log on to all of the socials, as we are everywhere, and you can like the Rocky Mountain Sports Network on Facebook. Go ahead and follow on Twitter as well at RMS Sports Network. You can like the Instagram page as well, which is Rocky MTN, and you can do that MTN. So you can do that, and you can follow Matt at Matt Mascarenas1. You can follow me at Michael Spillin. You can do the YouTube if you want, subscribe, and the Instagram, is Rocky MTNSN, and of course on Twitter at RM Sports Network. And I just mentioned everything at 5280 Sports. So everywhere, and then later this episode will be posted onto Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Matt, how are you this evening?
I am feeling pretty good. I'm feeling better than yesterday. I had a case of the ADs yesterday. They had to sit me yesterday, so yeah, I'm feeling better today. Though I had a better day, had some allergy stuff going, but I feel like I'm getting through that. My voice might be a little crackly here and there, but had a good day. First track meet for our Mapleton School District track team. Kids came up, had a great time, so excited about that. And basketball season, our summer basketball camp has started today too, so a lot of stuff going on in the youth high school / sports world that I'm a part of. So pretty excited. How about you? Did you enjoy that? Did that Nuggets victory last night on a victory Monday?
Yeah, and I was just saying, Matt was on load management yesterday, so he could not. He had to rest. But we are here, and yeah, I mean, I don't know if I was pleasantly surprised or I don't know what to feel about that Nuggets game. All I know, it was good to see. Everyone's questioning why Michael Malone put the starters back out there up 30. And I guess my only reasoning for it, Matt, is to knock some of the rust off, get some more conditioning in. They hadn't played in a week, and the last time we saw the starters play, they looked like crap. So that was my only – and I'm honestly surprised Minnesota's coach or players didn't really say anything about it. I'm honestly kind of shocked that they were like, why – like our scrubs are in. Why aren't there – and then with about 4 minutes left, when you see guys like Chanchar and guys like that out there. Because Zeke Naji was in the rotation near the end of the season after he came back from injury,
Right.
and he did not see the court until till scrub time, basically. DeAndre Jordan looked like shades of Lob City.
Dude, that was nice to see that, wasn't that?
Some good lob passes from Jamal, and he was flying high in that one. Scored a couple points off the bench. Didn't see him again, but it was good to have him. I'm still clueless and shocked as to what Thomas Bryant's role is on this team. Did not even touch the floor besides standing up on it on the bench. So I'm a little confused that we didn't see Reggie Jackson until scrub time. So this is kind of what we expected, Matt, when we were a couple weeks ago discussing what the playoff rotations would look like, and it's a tight. I want to say maybe 7, maybe 8 guy rotation with Bruce Brown, Christian Brown, and Jeff Green.
Yep.
So there's your 8 right there, and okay, maybe 9 because we did see DeAndre Jordan, and the only reason we saw Chanchar and all those guys is because they were up by 30.
Right. And I was surprised. I like you with the keeping all the starters in. It looked like Mike Malone was still going with his rotation time slots with his, it's this time we bring this guy back in, get Joker back in, blah, blah, blah. And I don't know if you noticed this, and Joker even said it in the game or in the post-game remarks when they were talking to him, asking him about I think it was Ernie Johnson has said something like, did you when you came back in the game, did you come in and were you okay coming in that garbage time? What did you think about coming in? And Joker said, and he first said, the first thing he said was, I don't know if you saw this, was that's not a question for me. Don't ask me that question. He looked like he was a little irritated with it, but then he did the Joker thing and was like, it's I don't mind playing garbage time. I played garbage time my first couple of seasons, blah blah blah. Did the right things, said the right things, but I was pissed off. I was legitimately pissed off and upset because Joker was in that game. And if you noticed, Joker immediately, he's got 4 freaking fouls. That right there, he has 4 fouls, and you put him back into a meaningless game with 4 fouls. It doesn't matter if to me, number 15 is the most important piece of your freaking team. He's got 4 fouls to begin with. The team's up 30 plus points at one. I think it was 27 when he came back in the game. Might have been 25 points, but still, the game's over. And did you notice Joker immediately go to foul? He picked up a foul immediately, and then that flagrant on Anthony. That was a I'm going to foul somebody so I can get the hell out of this basketball game. And then freaking Michael Malone challenges the call, and that little exchange right there pissed me off. And that's the only part of that game outside of the free throws and a lot of bunnies around the rim. I'm sure we'll get to and talk about that. But other than that pissed me off, and that made I still don't. I didn't listen to Michael Malone's press conference afterwards. I didn't really get to hear it because I was tired. I fell asleep. But I did hear Joker say that, and from what I got from what Joker said is he didn't agree with being back in that game. I didn't agree with him being back in that game, and it was definitely a time to get the starters back in. Joker was done, and that was a wrap. The game was freaking over. So I don't, even from a coach's perspective, like you said, like, hey, let's get them in there. Let's knock the rust off. They play like crap. They were up 27 points. Let them sit, man. We don't want these guys to get hurt. You saw Giannis get hurt already. You saw John Morant get hurt. You saw Tyler Hero get hurt. Now we're going to see Nikola Jokic out there in a meaningless game with 4 freaking fouls. I did not agree with that with Michael Malone at all, one freaking bit.
Yeah, and we also saw Anthony Davis almost get hurt as we had a little clever exchange there on Twitter, and obviously they shot him full of something, and he came back.
That's what it looked like, right? He still looked like his arm didn't work right, but they looked like it was like Varsity Blues, and they got Tweeter. What was that cat's name? The running back in there, and putting the needle in his shoulder. So yeah, they shot something in there.
Yeah, they shot some Gumby in him, and he was ready to go. John Morant will not be able to hold a gun anymore, so
Nope.
that's probably a good thing for him. Tyler Hero most likely going to miss a
Yeah.
lot of time. 4 to 6 weeks is what the report was,
Yep.
and so he will obviously miss it probably the rest of the playoffs, to be honest with you. So we might not see him, depending on how far Miami goes. They got a big win in Milwaukee. You kind of put an asterisk on that because Giannis went out early in that game with back contusions. The way he fell, and the way he fell down and immediately arched his back, you're like, oh god,
That was
and,
awful.
yeah. And he got up, played a couple more minutes, shot his free throws, and you didn't see him from the second quarter on. It pretty much 3.5 quarters. You're missing Giannis, and they tried to pick up the slack. Chris Middleton had a good game. We didn't see the normal Drew Holiday game that we were accustomed to, and so the role players, Bobby Portis had some shining moments, but besides that, Jimmy Buckets showing up when it matters most. 35 points in the road win, and this is a Miami Heat team, Matt, who fought its way through the play-in tournament and made the 8th seed play in Milwaukee. And we obviously saw Atlanta make the 7th seed. There's a game on right now as well. This is an exciting series, and we'll do our series predictions here in a bit. But we have the Warriors at the Kings right now. It's an early game, or early score right now, 5-4. Golden State leads it. Quick Rockies up there. They're down now 13-1. And besides that, I mean, these are exciting series. I mean, I hated that the Lakers won. I hated it. I hated it. I again, without John Morant, and he was already not looking very good before he got hurt. And then he obviously missed the rest of the game. But what did you make of the Lakers, the whole Anthony Davis drama? I mean, Hachimura, is he going to do this again? 29 points off the bench?
Right. That's where you're at with the Lakers. Like I've said that, like before, this is they've been the best team in the NBA since the All-Star break, or since the trade deadline, and you can look at them. I've been dubbing them the lucky Lakers because they absolutely are. They absolutely are the lucky Lakers. They've been very, very fortunate in their path to where they are, where they have gotten. They've played a weak schedule on the back end. Take advantage of that weak schedule. Anthony Davis, gets up. They're coming back. John Morant goes down. There was a couple other things that I noticed that kind of rolled that way, but they are playing good basketball. Lord Voldemort is there doing what he's doing in year 20. He's still that guy. I'm not going to deny he's still there, but like you just said, Hachimura was the dude in that game. Hachimura was the one that really elevated that game, or even had that team kept that game to where it was. And when Ja went out, they were done. I was like, that's a wrap. They're done. They gave up. You can see Desmond Bane, which he didn't have a very good game, and there's a lot of to look at. Is Hachimura going to do this again, or is Jackson going to do what he did? Because he scored what did he score have 30 some points or something like that yesterday. But is he going to do that? But is Desmond Bane not going to do what he didn't do? Is Desmond Bane going to have a better game? Is he going to score? Is Austin Reeves him? He thinks he is. I don't. That's the thing with the Lakers, man. There's so many question marks around them. And I don't think that LeBron James is that kind of guy. I said his name. Dang it. Voldemort. Here he comes. Don't say it Don't say it two more times, Mike. Don't say it 2 more times.
It's like the Candyman. Don't say it.
Exactly. He's not that guy that's going to be responsible for 1 or 2 wins in the playoffs like he used to be. He's not going to be that guy. AD is not that guy. I'm sorry. He can. They were saying he was looking like Bill Russell, blah blah blah, blocking shots and doing this stuff. I don't trust that guy. I don't trust him to be healthy, and I don't trust him to step up in a game. I don't trust the Lakers, but they're lucky as hell. And when a team is that lucky as they are, just look back at the bubble. They had 3 months off. Yeah, the whole NBA had 3 months off. I keep going to this, but they benefited 3 months off more than anybody else. They're the lucky ass Lakers. and they're getting lucky again. John Morant's going to miss at least 2 games, I would bet. 2 games. And they're just going to – they got that golden path right to the freaking Western Conference Finals. They do. They really, really do. And it disgusts me because I absolutely hate the Lakers.
Yeah, and Desmond Bain even came out and said that's probably the best game. And he's speaking of Hachimura, and I don't know if I'm saying his name right.
You're right.
But he said that's the best game he's ever played. We'll see if he can do it again on Wednesday. So, yeah, we'll see. 4 Lakers with 20-plus points, LeBron, AD, Hachimura, and Austin Reeves all scored 20 points or more. How about this? First time since 88, 4 Lakers did that.
And what was it? Wasn't there? Didn't Austin Reeves do something like come off the bench? He was the first guy to do it since Magic Johnson, and score what he scored.
I think that was Hachimura off the bench.
Hachimura. Yeah, that's right. Hachimura. Yeah,
off the bench. But it was the first time since '88, since the Lake Show, when Magic, Kareem, and those guys scored 20 in a game, in a playoff game. So, yeah, I mean, I honestly was a fan of their moves at the trade deadline. You mentioned the best team since the trade deadline. So, and I was listening to some national radio this morning, Matt, saying this team is built for the playoffs. It's not built for the regular season because they're all old and fragile, but they are built for a short not short playoff run, but because the season playoff is a season in its own. So They're built for a playoff run. And I hate to agree with them, but I agree with that statement. And
when I keep hearing, I've heard that a lot. And when you look at the there's 7-game series if they go all 7 games. And if this team can keep that up, these guys scoring in the 20s or double digits or contributing that much, then this team's going to do that. But that's the thing; it's a 7-game series, and I keep hearing that, and I even also heard too. You hear that whole old adage with like the Bucks losing, and every home team lost yesterday except the Nuggets. But I know for sure, Mike, if the Nuggets lost yesterday, they would be written off. They would be done. It doesn't matter. It's not a 7-game series. They're not ready. They're not. They would have been thrown, buried, and done, did, and over with. I know they would have. I don't know if you watched any national media today or national shows this morning. I think you said you just did. You watched some. They didn't mention the Nuggets hardly at all. At all. Now I understand they blew out the Minnesota Timberwolves. They blew them out. I get it. And what's to talk about that? But I guarantee you, if it was the other way around, it would have been the Nuggets can't do it. See, the Nuggets can't do it. See, the Nuggets can't do it. And it cracks me up that a team like the Lakers, and it's just because they got LeBron James. Dang it. We're getting close, Mike. You got to get that beat button ready. Because it's because they got the player like that. They're in the 7th seed. They had a battle to play in the playing game. They had to do what they had to do at the end of the season to get into the playoff game, in the playing games. So when I hear that, I understand what they mean, what they say by this team's built for the playoffs or built for a playoff series. But when I hear that, it's like it drives me crazy because they had to scratch and claw to get to the 7 seed. But now they're the freaking favorites. They put it all together. We know what Malik Beasley is. We know what Jared Vanderbilt is. We know what all these guys do. I just don't understand outside of he who should not be named being a part of that team is why they get so much of a freaking pass onto the next one is because of him. I get that. And they're the freaking Lakers. But to me, in my mind, they've been always outside of the playoffs, won the 10th seed, 11th seed, all the way through the whole season until they got lucky. So that's the way I look at it. And it's mostly because I absolutely hate the Lakers. I'm not a big Laker fan. So that's where this is coming from. And I'm a jealous Nuggets fan because they're getting dumped on. They're disrespected all up and down the place. We got to stay up late. We got to stay up till midnight to watch this freaking team. You know what I'm saying? So I was a little butthurt about that, if you can tell. So man, I'm hoping that Ja comes back. Yeah, the Lakers might go up 3-0, but I'm hoping we got a situation where Ja comes back, pissed off. He's got it clocked, ready to go, and just destroys his team. That's what I'm hoping. It's probably not going to happen. We're probably going to see him in the Western Conference Finals, but whatever.
Yeah, and you hope Ja comes back and is able to use that gun-toting hand for shooting baskets and not.
Blah, blah.
Yeah. So I don't know. I can't stand it. And maybe the Nuggets, and you brought up why this game was so late last night, and even Charles Barkley brought it up. You know, he said it's disrespectful, and he didn't say these words, but as a number 1 seed, it's kind of disrespectful to get the very last game. And I get it. You want the East Coast eyes on the Clippers and Suns. You don't want the East Coast watching Clippers and Suns at whatever it is, up until 1 a.m. I get it. But still, the 1 seed, put them at 11 o'clock in the morning.
And
I don't even care.
Yep.
8:30 at night, and the rest of this week, Matt, is going to be crazy because you had an 8:30 Nuggets game Sunday. We're going to have an 8 o'clock Avs game tomorrow going, and we're going to have another 8 o'clock Nuggets game on Wednesday, and then we're going to have an Avs playoff game on Thursday, and then the Nuggets will be on the road either for, I think is that Friday or it's on Friday?
Friday.
So starting tomorrow, Matt, we're going to have a playoff game to watch in Denver because now we can watch it because it's national TV. So that's going to be exciting, but they're all 8 o'clock or later, Matt. This is just, it's killing me right now. And yeah, as soon as we sign off here, I'm going to bed because
me too. I'm tired.
But after watching that game last night, it was around 11:30 when everything kind of wrapped up. I didn't even feel tired. You're just so pumped up after watching that.
And that's what sucks about those games for guys like you that got to wake up early. You're jacked. You're ready to go. You can't go to bed. I remember those days, man. I remember those days when I had to get up early and go to work. I mean, I get up early for different reasons now, but I don't have to go anywhere really. But you guys, I pity you, man. I hated it. I hated freaking getting up. Like it's just because you're all. It's like, now what do I do? Do you turn on The Office to kind of laugh and kind of doze off? Like what do you do? So yeah, I just these late games, they've always driven me crazy. And if I can remember back being a Nuggets fan as long as I have, I feel like we've always got dealt this card because of where we're at in the time zone.
Yeah, And see, like this game, the series that the game that is on right now, which was on Saturday, Golden State, Sacramento, you could put at the late game,
right?
And because they're both Pacific time zone teams. Even Phoenix is on the Pacific time zone. You can flex those around. But on a weekend, I don't even care, Matt. Put the Nuggets on at 10 a.m.
Right.
I mean, it's going to be still a sellout crowd. It's going to be crazy either way. But this week is going to be chock full of Denver sports to watch and or attend. Yeah, man, it's going to be a late couple of nights for me. Sunday night was late. I'm going to the Avs game tomorrow.
That's right. You're going to be – oh, boy. Wednesday's going to be rough.
Well, and then my rec basketball league on Wednesday, our game is at 9:15.
That's right.
So it's going to be a late couple of nights, but it'll be worth it.
There you go. What else are you going to do, right?
Yeah, what else? I mean, what else is good to do? All right, so now we saw the 76ers take a 2-0 lead over the Brooklyn Nets as we kind of transition into our series picks here. Do you see Brooklyn getting a game in this series, maybe a gentleman sweep, or is it just going to be a clean sweep by your boy Embiid and the 76ers?
The MV pity?
MV pissy.
Well, Mike, as the old saying goes, a series doesn't start until the away team gets a road victory. So this series hasn't really started yet. If you look at it that way, I liked the way Brooklyn came out in that game one. I didn't get to watch the game tonight, but I liked the way that they came out in that game one, and they looked, and it looked like it was basically, if I was checking in periodically with the score and a couple highlights that I get on my phone, it looked like it was kind of the same thing. I really like this is a question too that's going to be, this is a different question for a different time, but it's still relevant to this conversation. Did this Phoenix Suns, I know Kevin Durant is a freaking monster, but did the Phoenix Suns make a mistake in trading Mikal Bridges? That dude is a freaking beast, just an absolute beast. And the things that he was doing on a Sunday or when they played on Saturday was, I was like, oh my, he had like 20 some points in that first half. I think it was just crazy. He has 21 again tonight. Cam Johnson had 28. I know he scored most of that in the first half and didn't have as big of a second half. But I think the biggest key to this Nets series is let's see what happens back in Brooklyn. I fully think that they can get two there. I don't think, and this is another thing. I don't know why everybody puts so much into the Philadelphia 76ers, man. They haven't done jack. James Harden hasn't done jack. Joel Embiid hasn't done jack. Doc Rivers, outside of what he did in Boston, but how long ago was that? He hasn't done jack. The last thing I remember Doc Rivers was what happened in L.A. And it looked like that was going to happen again tonight. The only thing I got from it, I got a tweet or something from it saying with a picture of Doc Rivers just looking like he was pissed off. This team hasn't done anything. It hasn't even made it to its conference finals. I don't know why Philly gets so much run and so much pick as they do, because they haven't done anything. Now I understand the way the MVP has been doing the things, Joel Embiid, and I'm not denying the fact that he's a monster down there. But on the block, and he can shoot it, and he can play defense. Okay, he's a rim protector. Okay, so he runs around the key, blocking shots. Okay, I get all that. But what I think this Brooklyn Nets team has given this, they're going to beat up this Philadelphia 76ers team, and it's going to make it a rough series. I think they win this series, Philadelphia does, but I'm thinking, I think they get two and they go back in Philly, and it could be game 6 or it could be a 7-game series. That's what I'm kind of thinking, but I think Philly does win, but it's just going to beat them up for their next series. That's all it's going to do.
Yeah, I honestly, I'm going to say this. I'm going to be surprised if Brooklyn even gets a win in this series. I thought tonight was the game that they were going to steal away in Philly, and it ended up not happening. So I'm kind of, that's where I'm at with Philadelphia, and as they take a 2-0 series lead. I thought this was going to be the game for Brooklyn. Dinwiddie had a better game, and as you mentioned, Bridges. Just another strong performance. Seth Curry with a few threes off the bench. The son-in-law of the aforementioned Doc Rivers. That's interesting. As the Warriors have a 17-12 lead right now. Late first quarter, as the Kings light the beam. Hashtag in Sacramento. First playoff win since 2008 in Sacramento. So they knocked off a 25-year playoff win drought with that win the other day on Saturday. And this series is going to be interesting. A lot of people still picking the Warriors because, I mean, you pick them until they lose because they are the defending champs until they're dethroned. Sacramento has built pretty much from within De'Aaron Fox. I like him and Malik Monk in that backcourt, Matt. How about this? They both went to Kentucky together. So they were teammates in Kentucky. And oddly enough, the jersey numbers that they wear now, Matt, switch them around, and that's what they wore in college.
No kidding.
Yeah, they're wearing the opposite numbers of one another now as they did in their time in Kentucky. I honestly see, Matt, I'm going to say for this series prediction, Matt, I'm going to say Kings in 6. Is that outlandish of me?
I don't think so. I don't think that's outlandish. It's a good pick. De'Aaron Fox, man. Like this dude is he's a jackrabbit. He freaking jumps out of the gym, but he's got that and ever since he came into the league, he looked this way, and you can tell him there's something. He's just got that gamer, that game dog. There's so many adjectives I can use to describe his mentality, but dog is the one that you usually. But it's all-star, all-pro is kind of where we're looking at right now. And I just don't – the thing with the Golden State Warriors, and I was always nervous about them getting going. Wiggins is going to start tonight. I'm pretty sure I heard that he did start. But the thing with that team is that's the team where I look at that's just about the playoffs for them. Right, that team is when they can get in the playoffs, wherever seed they are, they can do the damage. They can do what they need to do. But I think what I'm seeing is this team's a little bit full of themselves, man. They've been talking a lot. Klay Thompson has been annoying the piss out of me, and he's would have been one of my favorite players. But he's sitting on the bench throwing 4. He's talking yesterday. He's just been talking so much, and I know that Memphis series was or those series of games that they've had with them. They were just going back and forth with each other. But this team is talking a lot, and I think it's going to catch up with them, because what I saw Saturday with that team and how they had chances, man. Steph had a chance to tie the game there at the end, and I think Klay even missed a shot that would have won the game or put him ahead at least. So there's chances there, but the way the Sacramento team plays, it doesn't play defense. That's the one thing that it doesn't do, is play defense. But it reminds me of the 09 or those Nuggets teams that just ran those Doug Moe, George Karl teams that would just run up and down and play zero defense. That's what it reminds me of. So I do have a little soft spot for them, and I kind of tend to agree with you. I do like Sacramento in 6 from what I've seen, and I'm going to be honest with you, man. I think the Warriors deserve it. I think they need to get punched in the mouth a little bit more, because they're just talking all this crap. And I think Sacramento's that team that is going to punch them in the mouth. Now, does Sacramento go further than that? I don't know. That's the tough call, because you're going to have to play defense. You're going to have to play some good defense once you get past this first round bracket. But, yeah, I kind of agree with you. I do like Sac in 6.
Yeah, and I said 2008, 25. That would be a 15-year playoff drought. Not get your facts straight.
Get your facts straight.
It's 15 years.
Blame our crack stat person on that, man. We need to fire that person.
Yeah, whoever that is back there.
That person is needs to be fired immediately.
So we mentioned Grizzlies and Lakers. Without Ja Morant, it's going to be a tough hill to climb for the Grizzlies. How do you see this series going now with what we saw in Game 1? Is it can the Lakers repeat what they did? Can they have another 4-peat of 20-point scorers again against Memphis? Is that going to happen again, or will the Grizzlies step up at home? And it was kind of interesting, too. All the home teams lost yesterday except for the Nuggets, which is pretty crazy as well. A lot of home teams lost, even dating back. Not a lot of home teams won in this first kind of weekend opening up here in the NBA playoffs. Philadelphia, one of the exceptions as well. Cleveland lost, and Boston won. So only 3 home teams won so far, Matt. Philadelphia, Boston, and the Nuggets. So I don't know if that's a telling thing between all these games, but what do you make of this Grizzlies-Lakers series going? Who's winning that series and how many games?
If Ja doesn't play, it's Lakers in 4, maybe 5. Maybe Memphis gets 1 at home if Ja's out. I mean, they're already down Steven Adams. And I just with Ja not playing, with Ja not in there, and it sounds like he's going to be out, I don't give him a chance. I really don't. And I really think it could be 4 or it could be 5. Give him 1 in Memphis. But walking in Memphis, sorry, that just rolled off the tongue.
Beat on a beat.
But I just think the Lakers, man. It pains me to say it, and I hate saying it. And I already know how I feel about the Lakers. They got a groove. There's some kind of a groove, and it's just like I said, those easy Lakers. Because what's going to happen, Mike, is they go through here without any, and they're going to sit a week. If they sweep this series, Ja's out, they're going to sit a week, and they're going to get a rest. And I see our boy Keith is in the house. He's a Laker fan, so he's probably ecstatic. And again, the lucky Lakers, man. They're gonna get if there's any team in this league that benefits from resting, it's the Lakers. They're gonna get a week if they win. And like we predicted, if that works out, they get Sacramento in the next round. And then what are they gonna do there? We know Sacramento can't play defense, so how are they gonna stop these guys? Like is it going to be? But then you have to look at, can the Lakers? We'll get into that, but it sets up to be another easy cakewalk right into the Western Conference Finals for the lucky Lakers.
Yeah. Again, I honestly based on what I saw from John, even in the minutes he did play, he just did not look right. Even before he injured his gun-toting hand. Before that, I mean, he already had a rap on it, and I don't know if that's from gunpowder just backfiring. I don't
Maybe.
know what that is. Yeah,
If you shoot a lot, you do kind of get, that's a sore hand there,
and I don't know also if that's from punching security guard. I don't know what that is because he's been in the news a lot off the court, and somehow he's still playing basketball. So, but he is a good basketball player when he is on the court, and without him, I don't know. And this just announced earlier was Jaren Jackson Jr. was named Defensive Player of the Year this year. Mm-hmm. So if that speaks volumes too, because they'll need him to step up in the paint and try to shut down Anthony Davis. All you have to do is really blow on him; he'll fall over. So that's all Jaren Jackson has to do, and he will snap, Matt. But then they'll fill him full of that Gumby juice, and he'll be back out there. So. I mean, there's so many people. The cocky little runt and Dennis Schroeder has had a couple little. Did you see the Lakers' new little celebration? Is that acid or meth they're putting in their veins? What is that?
I don't know. Is that
the Gumby juice?
I don't know. Maybe our boy Keith knows what that is. It could be Gumby juice. It could be some Lucky juice. It could be Lucky. I don't know. But they put a lot of it in there, don't they? They just. Both of them just shoot it up, and him, LeBron. Well, these guys get needles so much because they're so injured. They're always I guess that's like it. Instead of the Laker with the ball, it should just be a needle, like a syringe or something. Yeah.
Speaking of which, man, here you go. It's crazy too.
Is that Billy Joel?
No,
right?
Mark Kahn.
Mark Kahn? Yeah, okay, Mark Kahn. Yeah, I see the guy. I see this. I see his hat now.
One hit wonder. This is what the Lakers will be singing if this is. All right, so yeah, I kind of agree with you.
I think we could do a better job, to be honest.
I think Memphis will get the next one at home because they're going to be jacked up. But if I honestly don't even see Jaw coming back in this series, I don't see anybody that can replace him. I don't know. I would say Lakers in 5 if that's the case, and I hate saying that. So. It's crazy. I don't know. I'll say Lakers in 5, and I hate saying that.
Yeah, I agree. Lakers in 5. I mean, if Desmond Bain kicks up, Jackson does what he does, what kind of sort of what he did, play some defense, and Dylan Brooks, punk ass Dylan Brooks. I can't stand that freaking guy either. But I don't know what he does besides talk crap and get fouls. I mean, he drains some threes. I just don't know if you can count on him to provide offense or a spurt. And then it's just, I'm trying to search and find some silver linings in there. But if Jaw's not in there, I'm like you. I don't see him getting more than at least a whatever game. Cause they're probably gonna get one of those games where the Lakers will get the next one. And then they go in there, like the Lakers will go there too, and then they'll get like that last one, and then Memphis will come in and they'll blow them out, right? Because you'll get one of those blowout games, and then they'll go back to LA and blow them out there. So it's just one of those deals, like where I don't know. It's and I may have got the away and home mixed up, but you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah, I just don't see, and again, it pains me to say, I just don't see Memphis coming away in this series, so we'll go along with that. We kind of touched on this one as well. Heat get a huge road victory in Milwaukee, and again, maybe put an asterisk by that because of Giannis going out. Brook Lopez, they're going to need him to step up. He'll probably, be manning the center like he always does. He was in the running for Defensive Player of the Year. Jimmy Buckets came to play. But the Miami Heat came at a cost as they lose Tyler Hero for probably the rest of the playoffs with a broken hand, so John Morant knows what he's going through. I don't think the Bucks let another one slip away at home. I guess it depends. Have they said anything how long Giannis is out?
I heard it. I haven't heard anything definite. I've heard everything that they've looked at has been negative, but I could see him missing the next game. I haven't heard this for sure, but I could see him missing the next game, precautionary reasons. And I agree with you. I don't think the Heat, because the hero was huge. I think Giannis, if the Bucks lose Giannis for this series or whatever it may be, I still think they can get through Miami. I still think they can beat them. There's Middleton, there's Holiday, Portis, Lopez, the kid, the Grayson. You know, there's is it Grayson on that team?
Grayson Allen, yeah.
Who?
Grayson Allen.
Grayson Allen, yes. Boom, there you go. The Dookie. And I might be missing somebody. There's still enough there for them to beat a Tyler Hero-less Miami Heat team. I know Jimmy Bucket's going to do what he does, but I don't think Bam Adebayo is can make up. You know, Duncan Robinson. Is he going to is he even? Yeah, there's just too many question marks from the Miami Heat, and I agree with you. I think this could be maybe the Heat get one more. If Giannis is out, maybe the Heat get one more, or Giannis isn't fully healthy. He's not Giannis. Maybe they get one more and it goes 6 games. But yeah, I don't think they get another one in Milwaukee, and they may get one in Miami. But I see. I'm gonna give them one more. I'm gonna say they win. The Milwaukee wins in 6.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was gonna say. With or without Giannis, honestly.
I agree with you there too, and I think that's what I don't think. I don't think they want to do that. I don't think. What's that guy's name there? Is it Boonholzen or? It's Boulder Holder, something like that.
Yeah, it's like Bud Light Holder.
Something like that. But I think precautionary. They could. I don't think he wants to, but they could get away with not playing Giannis and still win this series.
Yeah, and Heat's another one of those scrappy teams fighting their way through the play-in tournament. So we kind of both have agreed on Milwaukee in 6. All right, the one we touched on a little bit as well, Clippers get a 115-110 for game 1 victory over Phoenix in Phoenix, and it was a pretty good game for Kawhi Leonard. First time in the playoffs in a couple years due to injury, without Paul George, mind you, going up against the favorites in the West, the other favorites besides the Lakers, favorites. Yeah, because these experts can't decide who's the favorite.
Anybody but the Nuggets.
Yeah, anybody but the number 1 seed. And I really hope the Clippers sweep the Suns just to shut everybody up, shut all the stupid KD people up, shut everybody up, shut that Suns and 4 guy up too, wherever the hell he is. And yeah, I don't see this being a sweep, Matt. I think I honestly going to go with Clippers in 6. It might go 7 just because this is going to be a good series. You know, the Suns are going to wake up a little bit. And when you're Russell Westbrook, who just gets 0, I think we touched on this too, when he got traded from the Lakers to Utah. Was it Utah or Charlotte? And they bought out a contract or something?
Utah, yeah.
And he signed with the Clippers because LA basically didn't want him, so he went to the other. I honestly hope the Clippers just shut everybody in LA up. And one of my favorite comedians, Adam Devine, is a huge Clippers fan. And I don't know if you ever watched Workaholics, Matt. Hilarious show.
I have seen it a couple times, yeah.
And he is in that. He's in the Pitch Perfect movies as well.
Okay.
Him and the 3 guys from Workaholics do a podcast as well called This Is Important. Check that out. But it had nothing to do with this conversation other than that. So I just want to see the Clippers absolutely shut down the Suns. I see the Clippers in 5. Oh, yeah. Russell Westbrook. Did you see him basically win the game for the Clippers, blocked Devin Booker, and then had the wherewithal to turn around and throw the ball off Devin Booker's nuts to make it go out of bounds?
And that
clutch.
That was clutch as hell. And that was man, if I'm Monty Williams, I am pissed off at Devin Booker He gave up on the play to turn around and bitch and complain about he thought he was fouled. The ball was right there in front of him. He could have grabbed it. And like you said, Westbrook had the wherewithal to bounce it off of him right on the sack, and like Devin Booker deserved everything he got there because of his whining, man.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that could have been something else, but yeah, heads up when you shoot. What did Westbrook shot like terribly in that game? But he
scored like 9 points or something, wasn't that?
9 points, 14 rebounds, and like 7 assists. Typical Russell Westbrook game, but the hustle factor kicked in, and he was just everywhere. And I saw a stat, and I don't know, I doubt I'll be able to find it, but between Devin Booker, Chris Paul, and Kevin Durant, they only scored 6 points when Russell Westbrook was the main defender. So
right.
That's pretty crazy.
That's out of control. And that's another thing too, that what happened to that whole the greatest, like the Kevin Durant, like he went absent. Like it was even Westbrook was a big effect on it, but he went absent, wasn't taking shots, wasn't aggressive. He was more passive, passing the ball away. Devin Booker's doing Devin Booker stuff, Paul doing what he does. And then Ayton, I thought he would have a bigger game. I think he scored 20 points, was still a pretty good game for him. But the Phoenix Suns are thin, and I don't think they play defense because all their defense is gone. Finney Smith's gone, Johnson's gone, Mikal Bridges is gone. All those guys are gone. The defensive guys are gone. Jay Crowder's gone. All those guys are gone. So there's that Phoenix team, I think, was exposed big time by this Clippers team with their lack of rotation, lack of depth, lack of defense. And I think that's going to bite them in the butt. And I do think they take this series to 7 games. I really do. But if Paul George is playing, it might be 5.
Yeah, how about this?
I don't think the Suns are ready. We could talk about the Suns being, the cream of the crop in the Western Conference next season, but I don't think it's. I think a lot of these national people that got giant, what's about this Phoenix Suns team, and they fully didn't think about, the bench. Oh, they got Kevin Durant. Doesn't matter. Don't need the bench. They got Kevin Durant, greatest player ever. He's going to change it. I don't think that mattered. I don't think that's the case. They need those guys that they traded. If they had those 3 guys on this team, I would think they would be in a better place with those 3 guys back. And Kevin Durant, like if they reverse the trade, they didn't make the trade, I would be, because the way Mikal Bridges is playing basketball right now, I could think that would be a better swap. I know that sounds crazy, Kevin Durant, but the way Mikal Bridges is playing basketball right now, he is tremendous. But I got the Clippers. I'm going to go 7 in this series because I think you still have to think that that's Kevin Durant and Devin Booker. But the Clippers are going to give it to him, and I think it's going to be done.
Yeah, especially if and when Paul George is inserted back into the lineup, it's going to be tough going for the Suns, I think. And the final line score for Westbrook was 9 points, 11 rebounds, 8 assists, and I mentioned Kawhi Leonard, 38 points. So the claw is back in the playoffs. And you mentioned the lack of depth for Phoenix. How about this? Only 10 bench points.
Right.
For Phoenix. A man for the Clippers had 10 points himself. And then Norman Powell had 14. Plumlee had 7 points. Bones, 3 points. Poor guy. But, I mean, Phoenix, they were so close. They had almost 3 guys with triple-doubles, Matt, and they still lost. Torrey Craig, or old pal Torrey Craig, 22 points. How about this? Kevin Durant, 27 and 11. He was 1 rebound shy from a triple-double. DeAndre Ayton, 18 points, 8 rebounds. Devin Booker, 26. How about Chris Paul, 7, 11, and 10? He was only 3 points away from a triple-double, and they still lost that game. And as you mentioned, depth, 10 bench points as opposed to 38 for the Clippers. So,
yep. And
not only that, 38 by Kawhi himself. All right, really quickly to the other Saturday games. Boston took care of Atlanta, 112-99, and the Knicks escaped Cleveland with a 101-97 win in Seatown. What do you make of Boston, Atlanta? Honestly, Matt, I would not be surprised if it's a sweep.
That's probably the most sweepiest series in this bracket at all. That's that is the only series that I think is going to be as well. I take that back. There's one more series, but yeah, that's a sweep. I don't even know like what to say about it. Like I don't. The Boston looks they're rolling, man. Boston looks tough.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. I could see Boston sweeping, and I honestly can see Philadelphia sweeping. And if we're being real, I can see the Nuggets sweeping Minnesota as well.
That was my next sweep. That's my next sweep.
So how about this New York-Cleveland game? Honestly, Matt, I would not be surprised if this series went 7 games. I don't think Cleveland is going to lose at home again in this series. Excuse me, Knicks. They played a good game on the road, and that's what you hope to see. RJ Barrett, you need him to step up more. Only 7 points. Julius Randle, 19 and 10. And shaking in his boots now is Luka Doncic in Dallas. Jalen Brunson, 27 points. And how about that Josh Hart, they got from Portland at the trade deadline, 17 and 10 off the bench in his first ever playoff game. So you have a lot of things going for the Knicks, but I honestly don't think Cleveland is going to lose game 2 at home. Donovan Mitchell, Spida, 38 points, Garland 17 points, but Matt, nobody on the bench scored over 9. So again, depth there for Cleveland as well. I can see this game. I want to see Cleveland win just because LeBron's not there anymore.
Right.
So, but I can see this going 7.
Is he coming? That's 3.
Oh, is it 3? Well, I'm not. Is the camera count as a mirror though? Is that?
I don't know.
Is it like Candyman, or is it like Bloody Mary?
Or is it Beetlejuice?
Which one is it?
I don't know. Is he going to turn into a big giant snake? And
does this count as a mirror? I don't know if you saw Candyman, the recent one.
I haven't seen the recent one. I haven't really watched any movies lately. Like there hasn't been a movie that makes me want to go watch one anyway.
I'm on a horror kick right now. So I watched The Thing, the newer The Thing. I just watched Lights Out, which is pretty creepy. I'm in the middle of I Can See You, pretty creepy. I do want to go see The Pope's Exorcist. I do want to go see Evil Dead Rise. So there's a bunch.
Man, you just like to be scared. That sounds terrifying to me.
Guess what? Last night, that's when I started like 2 of them. At
oh my gosh!
Yeah, it's crazy.
Crazy.
I'm gonna say,
do you sleep with a nightlight? I'd have a nightlight on.
I'm gonna say as my phone count. I'm gonna say Cleveland in 7.
I want to trust the Knicks. I really do, because I feel like the NBA is there's just something different about the NBA when the Knicks are really, really good. And you got the Knick fans out, rabid Knick fans. You don't really see a lot of them, the Stephen A's of the world, the Ariel Hawani's, the Knicks fans that you like to hear just whine and stuff like that. Those guys are entertaining when the Knicks are good. And I love everything that they're doing. That, like you said, Jalen Brunson. The fact that the Mavericks didn't even offer him anything, they didn't even try to keep him, I guess, from the way I understand it. I don't know if there's any differences around that Dallas, battles that, but it's crazy. That dude's another one of those superstars like Darren Fox. He's right there. He's right there in that category. And I think with a player like that maybe next year, Donovan Mitchell's different. That dude hits different in the playoffs. He's like Jamal Murray. I mean, it's crazy how that dude is. Yeah, I'm gonna go Knicks in 7 though. I just said I just feeling. God, I don't know, maybe Cleveland. I want to see the Knicks. I want to see the Knicks go further. Let's go that way. I want to see the Knicks go further. I'm thinking it's a 7-game series. I think this series is going to be the most fun series to watch and an exciting series to watch outside maybe this Golden State and Sacramento series, because that was a great game to watch. But I think this is going to be a fun series to watch, and let's go with the Knicks. I got the Knicks in 7.
All right, so we kind of differed there. I got Cleveland in 7. You want to see more disrespect for the Nuggets, even on the NBA app? Okay, here's the. Oh, you can't see it.
Oh yeah, I can't
see it. But they have the Lakers Grizzlies score. They have the Heat Milwaukee score. They have Clippers Sun score, and then they have an advertisement on jerseys, and then under net is the Nuggets. And speaking of the Nuggets, they absolutely blow the doors off Minnesota. And It was crazy. Anderson's still out there fighting people, and this time it's not his own teammate. They got 2 guys out with broken hands from punching walls. I mean, this Minnesota team, I don't know how they squeaked in. Now I can see how the Lakers beat them.
Yeah.
And even that was a crap game. But Nuggets absolutely blow the doors off. Again, we kind of touched on it. Michael Malone kind of questioning his decisions towards the end of that game, putting the starters back in with about 6 minutes. You're up 30. Good to see. I mean, I don't want to jinx it, but Bubble Jamal,
Yeah.
I mean, when he's pissed off and cocky, Matt, that is the best version of Jamal Murray. And you saw when Christian Braun and Anderson got into that kind of a scuffle, Murray's walking around. He played peacemaker, and after that, he was trying to pump up the crowd.
Yep.
He's saying, "Look at the scoreboard." Just he goes off, makes 4 threes after that. Ends the game with 27 points. I mean, that's the Jamal we need to see, man. That pissed off 24 points. Excuse me, pissed off, cocky Jamal. All 5 Nuggets in double figures. This is what we needed to see after finishing the season, Matt, 7-10. This is what Denver needed to see. Yep. And it was good to see. Not only that, how about shout out to Gus Johnson on the call.
I agree.
I mean, you love him doing NFL, you love him doing college football, but basketball, that was a pleasant surprise as well.
Greg Anthony's a freaking stiff on that call. I can't stand that dude when he calls games or even just in general. But it was a breath of fresh air to have Gus Johnson there to take some of that off, because Greg Anthony, my God, he's one of those Joker Nuggets haters. Even though he gave him some pub, gave him their flowers, but he was a little annoying. But I was happy that Gus Johnson was on it, and you could hear a little bit of the Stokely down the side. You could hear that a little, like a little here and there. So that was awesome. That was a breath of fresh air. But yeah, I agree with you. This Minnesota. Do you know Rob Perez? You know who Rob Perez is? He's a writer. He had Minnesota beating the Nuggets.
Of course they did.
And after watching that game, that team gave up in the third quarter. When they had a 15-point, I think when KCP hit that last 3 and he finally called a timeout, it's over. They gave up. They were done. They were out of that game. Anthony Edwards I thought he would have a bigger game, more impact. He started to get hot, started to make some baskets there towards the end, but I thought you would get more from him. And Cat, the Nuggets didn't really see Cat this year. He was hurt the whole time. That all the games that whenever the Nuggets played, he was always out, and I think he was out for the majority of the year. And he hasn't really got going. I thought he would have a bigger impact last night. He didn't. He looked like he shrank. Gobert has always been like, if you look at it, Mike, and I think this was even brought up a couple times on social media, that we're basically playing the Utah Jazz from a couple years ago. You got Mike Conley, Rudy Gobert, and who else was on the Jazz that's on that team now? But anyway, it was basically that's what we were playing. And we know what Joker can do. He did it to both Gobert and Cat. He was just toying. Yeah, Gobert got a block on him once, but that's going to happen. It's a basketball game. But the domination, consistent over and over domination of Nikola Jokic was evident. Yeah, he was 13, 14, and 6. He had the foul out. But he affected that game tremendously. He just didn't need to do anymore. So I agree. I think this is a sweep. I don't know if you said. I think you did say it was a sweep, but I think this is a sweep. I think I don't even give Minnesota a chance to win. If the Nuggets can come out and do exactly, they play defense. And it wasn't that because Skip Bayless was trying to say, oh, I don't think Karl Anthony Towns won't do that again. Anthony Edwards won't do that again. He won't do that. That's not going to happen again. And the Nuggets aren't going to do that again. Bull crap. That could happen again because of the way the Nuggets played freaking defense. It didn't have anything to do with those guys being off. It's the way those guys played defense and the way the Nuggets defended them. Karl Anthony Towns, even after the game, said it looked like they knew all our plays. It looked like they knew what we were going to do. And going into this game, the narrative was Tim Connolly came down here and told us we're going to be ready for him. We're going to know what they're going to do tonight. It did not look that way. And that team is in shambles right now. And I don't think they win one. I think it's going to be a blowout again here in Denver. Maybe it's a closer game back in Minnesota, but I think this team sweeps Minnesota. And let's get ready for that Clipper Nugget showdown in the next round.
Yeah, if this is not a full 4-game sweep, Matt, it quite possibly may be a general.
Yeah, yep.
I can honestly see Minnesota squeaking one out at home, but besides that, Matt, so maybe 3 potential sweeps: Boston, Philadelphia, and Denver. I hope we see a Clippers sweep. That would be nice as well. But I don't think that's going to happen. That might go down. And let the Western Conference teams, by the way, Matt, beat up on each other. Just let them beat the living crap out of each other. Because I honestly see Golden State, Sacramento, I see that possibly going 7. A lot of these series I see going 7, and with just a couple of sweeps in there possibly, because I don't think Miami's going to sweep Milwaukee, obviously. I don't think New York's going to sweep Cleveland. And unless Brooklyn can get one at home, I don't see them having a chance as well. So that's what we got for the NBA things. Roommates of the sack here, Matt. Really quickly, we named the episode "No Captain, My Captain" because Gabriel Landeskog on Friday came out and said Thursday came out and said he is going to miss the entirety of this season. That's including these playoffs. They thought he was going to be able to come back for the playoffs, but this knee injury, Matt, has just – how about this, Matt? Since the bubble, this has been going on. And you know what started it? So he was pinned up against the boards in the bubble when they were playing in Edmonton. Mm-hmm. Cale Makar's skate cut him to the bone and hasn't been able to recover since. And he grinded it out last year during the Stanley Cup run. We obviously know he missed all 82 games this year, including the upcoming playoffs. It was funny, though, on a couple of local shows, they said it was they looked it up, and which is weird because you think a skate cut to the bone, Matt, there'd be some blood on it. I don't remember that happening at all.
I don't recall that either.
So he must have went right off the ice, and because you would think there'd be some blood somewhere on the skate.
Yeah, running down your leg, running down something, yeah, because
So,
I mean, that's pretty legit unless they got him off real quick, yeah.
So was that 2020? I mean, it's been 3 years
2020
since that he's been dealing with this. So
yeah,
and just grinded through the postseason last season, through the Stanley Cup. So pretty, I want to say, I don't know if demoralizing is the right word, Matt, but watching that press conference was just it's like a sucker punch.
Yeah.
You're glad he did it, so there's no more speculation. He did it for his teammates, so they quit getting asked like when is he coming back, blah blah blah. He's going to be traveling with the team. He's going to be with the team during the playoff as much as he can. So good to have that voice, I guess, in the locker room. And let's face it, Matt, not as much turned over. They have a new goalie. They have a couple guys. Evan Rodriguez is new, but besides that, Matt, not a whole lot has changed. Everyone's saying this is a different team. Sure, you don't have Landeskog. Makar's missed 20 games. He should be ready to go for the playoffs. Cogliano hurt his hand that final game. He should be back. Lehkonen is back. So you're getting all these guys who were on the Stanley Cup winning team last year back. And you insert Georgiev, Papa Joe. The dude had 40 wins, Matt. A quiet 40 wins. Tied for their league lead in wins, by the way.
That was like, I love how you said that quietly. Because nobody's really talking about that.
A quiet 40 wins, no big deal. I mean, that's almost half of the games you play.
Mm-hmm.
All he needed was 41, and that's half their wins, or half the games played in a season. And they had 56 wins, Matt.
Yep.
And he had 40 of them. So hopefully you get Frankie back as well. He should be back. He did play a little bit last week, so that's going to be good for them. He went 6-0 in the Stanley Cup playoffs last season, Matt, for the Avs. So you hope to see Frankie back. They have like 5 goalies on this team now. I couldn't tell you who would be their backup at this point, but you hope it's Frankie. Georgiev played back-to-back to end the season, Matt, in Nashville. And Nathan McKinnon just going warrior mode, scoring a hat trick to win the division was absolutely crazy. So he's ready for the playoffs. Game 1 tomorrow, Matt, against the Kraken.
The Kraken. Release the Kraken. Do they do that?
Probably.
Do they say release the Kraken when they come on the ice?
I heard a good catchphrase this morning, and I don't remember what it was. We be Kraken or
we be. That's pretty cool.
come a Kraken or something like that. But yeah, how about this, Matt? It would have been crazy if the Avs would have lost in Nashville last Thursday. Both Denver teams would be playing both Minnesota teams. And how about this? In the play-in tournament, it was the Minnesota Timberwolves to play the Nuggets. It was the Minnesota Timberwolves and the Oklahoma City Thunder, formerly the Seattle Supersonics.
Yeah.
Now Avalanche are playing Seattle Kraken. How about all that?
That's crazy. That's crazy.
There you go for some of your sports knowledge out there.
There you go. That's pretty freaking cool, man. If you look at it, when those teams I heard that they were probably like gonna have to do if the Avs played the Minnesota, there was going to be some kind of I almost called them the Stars. They almost that shows you how old my I go back. That they were gonna have to like do some reworking because they're gonna have the same series in the buildings or something crazy. It was something crazy like that. I was reading, but maybe they already got that figured out. But the whole thing with this Avs team and because there were a lot of what I heard a lot of was, how does this affect the Avs? How does this affect this team that Gabe's not coming back? Well, I mean, it kind of doesn't, right? Like, it would have affected it positively. It would give them a boost to get their captain back, give them a boost to get that player back. But it doesn't affect them negatively because he hasn't been there, right? This team has been doing what it's been doing and scratching and clawing along. And you love that go-to-work mindset and do what you need to do anyway. I remember there was people that were burying this team and wanting to fire Bednar. Remember that?
Yeah, and if they would have got bounced in the second round last year, I think Bednar would be out.
Right, true, right. Yeah, fair enough. Because especially what happened the year before with the Knights, for sure.
Yeah. And turns out they win the Stanley Cup and he gets an extension this year. So
I wondered next year, because he's not going. I wonder if next year if some folks are just going to sit back and let the guy do his thing and not be like all up in arms and it's this, fire and that's all I saw.
You know what's funny is we didn't do a show on Easter, but I was like, if the Nuggets do lose, I hope they lose in the first round because I want to see Michael Malone fired. I actually had those thoughts in my head because they played so crappy down the stretch.
Yeah.
And to see him put the starters in, I saw, I guess, devil's advocate. I saw the other side of why he did that. But, yeah, I don't know.
You want to? I was thinking this. I was legitimately thinking this last night. Joker goes out there, gets hurt, and out for the playoffs. Is Michael Malone fired that night?
On the spot, yes.
On the freaking spot. Hey, Stan Kroenke walks down or Josh Kroenke walks down the stairs. Booth, whoever it is that's going to fire him. You're freaking fired, pal. Step into my office. Why? Because you're freaking fired. Yeah. That is how stupid and dumb that was to put Nikola freaking. I don't care if you put those other guys out there, whatever. And I don't agree with the starters out there but put Nikola freaking Jokic out there with 4 fouls already. He's already got 4 fouls. You were. I was losing my brain last night. I was losing it.
Yeah, and you hey Popeye, you're the fill-in. You know his son is a hockey player for the Blackhawks.
Both of his kids are great hockey players. Like, does he have 2 kids?
Well, remember that too. Speaking of his son, Seth Jones,
he was supposed to be here.
I was gonna say a couple years ago when the Avs had a 48-point season, Matt. Bednar went through it. Landeskog went through it. McKinnon went through it. They all went through it. The slogan was "Suck for Seth."
Yep.
And look at what happened.
Yep.
Well, they ended up getting Cale McCarr. It all worked out.
Right. It was like, are you going to get the defenseman, or are you going to get the? Yeah. It was. Yeah. I remember all that.
And I don't even think it was Cale McCarr.
Well, wasn't it McKinnon?
No, McKinnon's already been 10 years.
Well, but I think it was back that far though.
No, this was 2017 when they had the.
I thought it was more. I thought it was because I remember Seth Jones going. It was a long time ago.
I don't know. Honestly,
But I remember that. I do remember what you like. It was either you have this pick or I remember it was maybe I'm confusing some other stuff because who was in that McKinnon draft with him? Wasn't there another high class big time player?
Probably.
Listen to me trying to argue with you with hockey knowledge.
Yeah, I mean, hockey. I mean, it is so. McKinnon was drafted in 2013. How about
Right.
this? By the Nashville freaking Predators. His original team that drafted him.
Yeah, Seth Jones was drafted by the Predators in 2013.
So there you go. So that was it.
Yep.
So
I remember that.
Dang, that was 10 years ago already?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
My kid was a year old. Yeah, I remember that. I remember hearing that I remember that.
Yeah, how about this? The top 3 players in that draft was Nathan McKinnon to the Avs, Alexander Barkov to the Panthers, and Jonathan Drouin to the Tampa Bay Lightning. 2 of the guys you probably never heard of. So
Ooh.
there you go. And in other news, Rockies are now trailing 13-2. But how about this? Chris Bryant with a home run.
Hey, makes it all worth it.
His first one at Coors.
Makes it all worth. That is a flabbergasting stat, man.
So the question back to, can the Avs? This is their road to repeat, right? Tomorrow's going to be rocking, man. I'm so excited to be at that first game of the playoffs. Unleash the Kraken, all that. The question is, can the Avs win a cup? Repeat, not only win a cup, man, but repeat without Gabriel Landeskog. And my answer is yes. I mean,
I agree.
They've come storming all the way back to win the division. I mean, granted, came down to the last game of the season, but to miss Cale Makar for 20-plus games now. Nichushkin missed 20-plus games. Cogliano's now missed some games. Frankie's been out, so you've had suspect backup goalie when Georgiev needs a rest. You've missed McKinnon. McKinnon missed 18 games this season. The only guy who's played all 82, Matt. I mean, you want to talk about Georgiev having a quiet 40 wins? Mikko Rantanen, man, this guy has just absolutely put this team on his back. 55 goals. McKinnon and Rantanen with 100-plus points. First teammates to do it since, the late 90s with Joe Sakic and Peter Forsberg. I mean, and then Mikko breaks Joe Sakic's all-time goals in a season with 55. So I can't believe that Nathan McKinnon has never had a 100-point season before.
That's crazy.
I mean, he's been the best player, arguably, top 3 player in the league since he's been in the league every year, and he's never had a 100-point season until this year. And he missed 20 games.
Yeah.
Imagine if he played all 82 like Mikko did.
That's crazy. Yeah, I agree with you, man. I think this team can do it. Just because of the strength, the will, to survive. Like that's what this team did, is they survived this year. They survived, and then now they're living. And I think they're going to thrive. I really do. I love what Georgiev is doing. He's that. I hope he can be that type of goaltender to take over a series or two. And you're going to need that in this to repeat. You're going to need something like that. I know I've been told a couple times from a certain people that goaltending is not. I still think if you get one of those stand on your head, all like goaltenders that just show up in the playoffs like you used to get Patrick Waugh, Hasek, Cujo, Curtis Joseph. I would go through some. Martin Brodeur. Remember there's just so many of these Grant Fuhr. Remember what he used to do to teams? I mean, there was just when they would go into those modes where they would just stand on their heads and take over games, and they would break your will. Because when you can't put the puck past that team, or that dude in that net, there's everything else is just takes your will to play that game. So I agree with. I think they can. I think because they survived this whole season, what everything else is golden. It's what they had to get through this season. I think they're ready for it, and I'm glad the Nuggets did what they did, because I was thinking I might have to start watching a lot more hockey during the playoffs.
Well, you should anyway. But
I should. I will.
How about the Seattle Kraken, Matt? Only second year in existence, by the way, for the Seattle Kraken. We will not see old pal Andrei Burakovsky, who won the Stanley Cup with the Avs last season. He was part of the expansion. I think he was a free agent, but he went over to Seattle in the offseason. He underwent surgery. But we will see an old friend in net for the Kraken and Philip Grubauer. So
Hey, Groovy.
Gruby's back in town. And how about this? A 40-point swing for the Kraken. Their first season in existence was last year, only 60-point, Matt. 60-point season. This year, 100. So they had a 40-point swing, but pretty much the same team as well. So they gelled, got things together. Golden Knights, if you remember, had a pretty good swing. Their first season wasn't that great, and then they were their first season, they were in the Stanley Cup playoffs.
Yep.
Stanley Cup final, mind you. And so they were pretty good. So
Isn't that funny? Because I don't think of any other sport where expansion teams came in. Maybe the NFL, because I think when the Panthers and the Jaguars came in, I think they made the playoffs their first year or second year. But outside of that, I can't think of any other expansion team. I'm probably wrong, but that any other sport where the expansion teams only took them with the Knights, like you said, and then now the Kraken, that they're so quick to be in the playoffs or be competitive.
Yeah, and I mean, how many other sports do expansion drafts? I know baseball does.
Baseball, yeah.
And we haven't seen an expansion draft since the Rockies, maybe?
The
last expansion draft? No, because Arizona came after, Florida came after. But did they have expansion drafts for those teams? Because I remember the Rockies expansion draft vividly. That's when they got Don Baylor as their manager.
Right.
That's when they got Andres Galarraga from the Cardinals. That's when they got Eric Young from the Dodgers.
Yep.
So
didn't they get Larry Walker from the Expos too?
I think Larry.
Or did they sign him?
Larry came in '95, so he. Came
Yeah. Okay.
I want to say they got Bichette from. Where was he? I don't know.
Toronto? Was he? No, that's his kid in Toronto.
And then they got
Philly. He was in Philly, wasn't he?
Somewhere. Boston.
He was in Boston?
Yeah, Bichette was in Boston.
Wow.
But yeah, I think it was before the Rockies. He was in Boston, I want to say.
And then the Marlins were with the Rockies when they came in, right?
Yeah. So I don't remember that expansion draft, but
I don't either.
Screw the Marlins because they already have 2 World Series victories. So
screw the Marlins.
And Arizona has one. So.
And Arizona. You know what? I real quick before we get the Rockies truly suck. They truly suck. They couldn't even arrest the guy that tackled freaking Dinger on the spot. They had to put an APB out for this guy.
You know why?
Rockies suck.
You know why? Because Dinger's a terrible mascot.
You know,
you have the Triceratops from Land Before Time as your mascot. There's just something doesn't hit right. It was cool when he cracked out of the egg.
That was cool. That was cool. I do think that was cool because the whole story behind it, how he came about, because they found that dinosaur bone or whatever.
They found the egg, and I mean, you know what was also in that egg that was supposed to be extinct was Dick Monfort's ability to run a baseball team. So
I think this whole, this might be a blessing in disguise for us fans, baseball fans.
13-3, by the way, now.
Oh boy,
they're making a game of it.
They're coming back. There's always time. They're always time. I think what this is going to do is it might put pressure on this guy to maybe we should start trying to win baseball games.
Should we put up a poster of the hot chick who owned the Cleveland Indians in Major League? Should we do that? And just take I just take
a piece off every now and then.
Yeah,
but maybe you should do it because
sleeves at this level, son.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that clip. But I know that maybe we could do like a cow, because he's a meat. They own the meat, so you get a cow up there and you take off a piece of the cow and it shows the brisket. You take it off, it shows the, you know what I mean?
I don't know, something. But
I think Monfort. I think these guys with this pitch clock and the faster all this stuff is going. I think this is in the sales, and they're trying to extend did you see all the beers the news a couple weeks ago or maybe whenever it was?
I don't know why people are so up in arms about that. Who cares?
I right. That's what I'm saying. It's like everybody's freaking out about it, and I'm like,
maybe
I never really paid attention to when the beer was done. I never heard I better go get another beer. Like, who cares? But anyway, I think this might get I don't know, man. I don't know. It's they might get him to think a little bit twice about this, maybe.
Yeah, and maybe because I haven't touched a beer since like 2007, maybe that's
Good
why
for
I don't
you.
care
Good
about
for
it.
you.
But yeah, Matt. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if the Avs swept the Kraken, but I think,
Yep.
but I think the Kraken will squeak one in at home, just because it's gonna be their first playoff game ever in Seattle, and that place is probably going to be off the charts loud. So,
All popping.
and they're
Big time.
dying for. I mean, the Mariners made it last season. First time since their record-breaking 2001 season. So imagine that, man. 23 years playoff drought for the Mariners to get back in, and so I think that place is absolutely going to be cracking, pun intended. So I can see them getting a win at home.
Yeah.
If it happens.
Yeah, I agree. But I do think the Avs get this series, and I think they're I'm excited to see how they roll. I really am, but they're surviving. Those teams are full of survivors. They made it through, and that creates some hardness. That creates some that what they have there is truly special. It really is truly special, in the way that it's just what they've been through in these past. God, like was it 4 seasons of what they've been through, losing in the first round, getting bounced in the, you know what I'm saying, and then they go through what they went through this year after winning the Stanley Cup, coming back from all that stuff previous. They're hard. That's a hard team over there, and I'm excited. I think they do. I think they repeat, man. I think they go back.
Yeah, it's going to be crazy if they do that. And I mean, you think about it. Now we think of Cal McCarr's skate into Gabe's knee. We think about Gabe being offsides, and they challenge that.
Yeah.
We think of the Avs going up 2-0 against the Golden Knights and not winning a game after that.
Yeah.
We think of them losing in the bubble to Dallas, and we think of just all these unfortunate bounces that happened, and then finally breaking through almost sweeping their way. 16-4 in the playoffs, Matt. That's hard to do.
I mean, hard times create hard men and hard players in this case, and I think that's what we got over there. In that, do we determine they're the right or left one?
I think. Well, I was going to say they're both up until that Nuggets win. The Nuggets were hiding back there somewhere.
They were up. They haven't dropped yet.
Yep, that's what I was saying. But maybe they're sharing now. Maybe they're. I don't know.
You think they got their own home now?
They might have their own side. All right, really quickly before we get out of here, Matt, it is the playoffs. We know superstitions, traditions happen in playoffs. I put down what's your favorite playoff superstition in sports, but maybe that's just too small of an area, because I do like the in hockey the playoff beards. So
yeah.
After today, I will not be shaving, and then also the handshake line.
Yeah.
At the end of each, I mean, you suck up your ego. I mean, you're just beating the piss out of each other for up to 7 games, and then to put that all aside, and look the guy you hate in the eye and shake his hand is just. I mean, it's almost the ultimate sportsmanship that any sport can show after beating the piss out of each other. So I like that in hockey. I don't know. I mean, as far as playoff goes, those are my 2 favorite playoff beers and the handshakes. What do you got?
I like the I like the whole. I love the beard too. I'm a big beard guy. And me personally, with one of my superstitions is like sometimes I won't watch. You remember Moneyball, and you got him. He's sitting there with the radio. He turns it off, turns it on, turns it off, turns it on. I do that when the Nuggets. I'm going with the Nuggets in particular. When they're playing like crap on TV, I can't watch it. I got to turn it off, and then I'll listen to on the radio. And I'll do the same thing. I'll turn it on, turn it off, turn it on, turn it off. So that's kind of a tradition for me when they're losing or playing like crap. I turn off the TV and I watch it. And I'm not gonna say I was responsible for the Clippers, the bubble Clippers series, but I think I was responsible for the Clippers bubble series, because as soon as when they were getting smoked, and then I saw Millsap get into it with God, I can't remember, Morris, wasn't it? And I was so pissed off, turned the TV off. I started listening on the radio, and then they came back. So those are kind of one of my personal superstitions, and I love the beard. I'm a big fan of the playoff beard.
Yeah, and another one for me, and I did this multiple times during the Avs playoff run last year, Matt, and that was I would wear a jersey to start the game, and then if they started losing, I would take the jersey off.
Oh, okay.
Nope. Because I felt like I may have put it on too late, maybe.
Gotcha.
So I would take it off, be like, nope. So and then if they won that game with the jersey off, I'm not wearing a jersey the next game.
Oh God, I like that. I love those kind of traditions because, they add that like, okay, this worked last time, it's got to work this time.
Yeah, and same in the rec league basketball. If we win, I'm not washing the jersey and I'm wearing the same headband. If we lose, I'm washing the jersey and I'll switch to another color headband. So. Oh
yeah. You know what my game is? It's disgusting. I was a puker. Before every game, I had to puke. If I didn't puke, I'd play like crap, and I knew it. I wouldn't like stick my finger down my throat. I get anxiety anyway, and it would get through to me where I would have to go and puke. And all my teammates would ask, "Did you puke yet?" They would ask, "Did you puke yet?" So I was for sure one of those guys.
You're like our old buddy Stink.
Yep.
All right. Well, that is going to do it for us here on this special Monday night edition of Elevation 5280 Sports, since my computer decided to break yesterday and Matt was on load management day. Yep. So we were not able to get a show in, but we're glad we were able to because it's been a couple weeks since we were with you guys, and I wanted to get all of this done. Matt, one really quickly here, and I wanted to ask you, and I maybe asked you this in the past, but how far do you give Michael Malone with this team? Like what do they have to do? We mentioned if Nikola Jokic would have got hurt last night, that was it. Fired on the spot.
That was it.
What is the leash you give him? Is he safe for next year, like everyone's saying?
I think if they lose, I don't see them losing in the first round now, so I think he's safe. I do. But if something happens and he does lose this first round, he's gone.
Yeah, it's got to be I almost want to say you got to make it to the Western Finals.
I agree. I know for sure if he loses in the first round, he's gone. If he makes it past there, for him to be 100% safe and not even thinking about it, I think Western Conference Finals. And this is just, from what I have seen. And then you want to go back to like, well, who's out there to take his place? Who's out there that's going to come in and do what he needs to do? I don't know that. I don't know who's out there, but all the chances and everything that you got going, and you can't get to the Western Conference Finals with a back-to-back MVP. And it's been the whole point of this is to do it this way. And you can't do it with this guy, then you got to find somebody else. I think it's the Western Conference Finals for sure. If he's 100% safe, he'll be back if this team is in the Western Conference Finals. And I wouldn't be as sure if they got bounced in the second round. I think there would be a discussion. I think there would be something. The seat would get real hot. A first round exit, especially after that game that they've had, then he'd be fired immediately. That's what I think.
Well, you know how crazy it is in hockey. Jim Montgomery, the former DU head coach, coached the Dallas Stars to a playoff appearance, got bounced in the first round, he got fired. How about this last season? Andrew Brunette, former NHL player that actually played for the Avs a while back, he was the head coach for Florida last year. Florida won the President's Trophy last year, man. Yeah. Got bounced in the second round, he was fired.
Yeah.
So they don't mess around in hockey, and it's cool to see Jim Montgomery with Boston now absolutely tear apart the Eastern Conference this season. Yeah. They broke the record for wins. They had 127 points, won the President's Trophy, but it also seems like the President's Trophy is a curse. So good luck to Boston, although I think they're still winning right now. But yeah, and you hope that you saw the big, huge wrap around Nikola's hand. You hope that's not too serious.
Yeah, that's that. And like I at the beginning of that game, I was wondering. I'm thinking like, because Murray was like 0 for 5 or 0 for 6 immediately. And I'm thinking like, this dude's not healthy. He's hurt. That hand, that thumb is a lot worse than we thought. and this dude's not healthy, and it's going to seep into his brain. It's going to get into his knees. His knees going to hurt. I just felt like it was going down that road, and then he just turned it on and did what Murray does, and that's one of the biggest things takeaways out of those games was Murray getting on and MPJ. I love the way MPJ played yesterday. I love the way those two played basketball, but I think that's the biggest takeaway from that game yesterday is that those two guys looked locked in, and they looked like they were ready to help out number 15.
Yeah, and it was also good to see KCP knocking down some shots.
Yes, Bruce Brown was tremendous. That's what you need off the bench. That's exactly what you need off the bench.
So we hope that goes. Keith also said LeBron is winning another ring. Hey, let's face it, Matt. If the Nuggets win this year, you're in the sweepstakes for either LeBron or KD. So you
know what? That is 100% true.
And especially if Bronny picks CU to go to college, man. So
is that true? Is that one of his colleges?
I thought he was down to USC and CU. Maybe
I read that too. I thought the same thing.
Because I heard Dion's been in on trying to get him here as well. So.
Oh my God.
Time.
Hey, our next show we got to talk about Prime too.
Yeah.
Because what he's doing down there in Boulder, man, holy smokes! Have you been paying attention to any of that?
And how about this? The noise that CU is making and the quietness that the Broncos are making is night and day. And how about this? If we would have had a fire and ice today, Matt, freaking Russell Wilson flipped a golf cart today at Arrowhead. So,
do you know the context behind it? He wasn't driving.
Oh, I thought he was drunk.
No, he wasn't driving. I thought that I was and when I read that first thing, I was like, this guy sucks. I don't want this guy to play quarterback. He can't even drive a freaking golf cart. And this guy's horrible. I don't want anything to do with this cat. And then I read because I follow a lot of golf deals, and I read one that there was more context into it. It was his buddy that was driving. So what happened was those carts. I'm sure you're probably familiar with it. They're GPSed. So if you go to an area you're not supposed to be in, they shut the cart down. So what happened was they were in that area and the cart got stuck, couldn't go forward, couldn't do anything. They weren't probably supposed to be in that area, and then it just rolled back into that crap is what happened.
Yeah, I knew he wasn't driving, but it was funny too.
But I thought he was, and I was like, this guy's awful. Get this guy out of here.
He's going to drive the franchise to the ground if he hasn't already. So,
but the jokes were funny. Like, look at Russ cooking.
Let's ride.
Let's ride. Yeah, the let's ride was – I was rolling.
All right. Yeah, you were rolling. So was he.
He was rolling. Had too many White Claws, I guess.
Yeah, too many Smirnoff Ices. All right, we're going to get out of here. That's going to do it for us. Thank you for getting in the conversation on the comment feed, text line, all of that. You can hear this on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and also it'll be on our Facebook page and also our Twitter page and our YouTube channel, which is all on the bottom of your screen. If you're not able to watch, go like the Facebook page, Elevation 5280 Sports. Go like Rocky Mountain Sports Network on Facebook as well. Follow all of the socials. Follow Matt at Matt Mascarenas1, at Michael Spillin, at 5280 Sports Radio. And you can also like Rocky Mountain Sports Network on Instagram at RockyMTNSN. Follow on Twitter as well, RM Sports Network, and all of the socials right there as well. But we're going to get out of here. It's getting late already. I promised myself I was going to go to sleep. And
you better go to bed.
Yeah, it's way past. Our YouTube channel is at 5280 Sports Radio as well. For Matt Mascarenas, I am Michael Spill. We will talk to you next time.